I grew up in Indiana, and when I was 17 I got my first car and started exploring. I live somewhere pretty suburban, but if you drive an hour south you're in the middle of nowhere. Tons of cornfields and abandoned houses. My friend and I started driving out there a lot and started going to these abandoned houses and exploring them. My dad bought a camera for the family a bit earlier, so I would take that and shoot some photos of the houses. We got really good at finding them too. We looked out for the normal signs, broken mailboxes, long grass, heavy wear in the house, etc. But sometimes we were still worried about whether or not some of the places we went to were completely abandoned. The best houses don't look as obvious from the outside. Like if a house looks like it's in decent condition, it's more likely to have stuff inside it. If it's super obvious, like all broken windows, missing a door, etc., kids probably have already found it and spray painted it and broke crap. We were really respectful about it and wanted to explore places other people didn't, so we looked for more settled places. I remember my friend and I were coming back from a concert in Indianapolis in the summer. We spent the night at my cousin's place in the city, since the drive back is really long. We left during the day and started taking alternate routes back to try to find any cool places to explore. We were driving down this long dirt road, one of those that doesn't even have a name, and it's called like Country Road 3282 or whatever. After a while we see a long dirt driveway come out to the left, and in the distance we see this really broken house. We pull into the driveway and drove down. It was probably a quarter-mile long. There was no big no trespassing sign, which usually means the place is definitely abandoned. I know that sounds stupid, but it's something that made us way more confident in the house. We park and walk up to it. The door was falling off and the windows were cracked. Inside the house everything was thrown around. It had that normal musty abandoned house smell, but it smelled stronger. Like more rotten kind of? And just really heavy. I don't know how to describe it, it was really weird. I figured since most of the crap in the house was thrown around and moldy and rotten, it was probably just that. There was this tiny room to the side, but it was completely dark, so we walked past it. We walked towards the stairs and started stepping over broken glass, like a lot of it. It's common to see broken glass on the ground, but a huge area was completely covered in it. It made loud cracks as we walked. I started feeling worried. We walked up the stairs, which were also covered in the glass. At the top there was a long hallway. 2 rooms were open on the side, and at the end was a closed door. The 2 rooms are mostly empty. I saw a bunch of garbage in one room. Black hoses, mason jars, Coke bottles of tubing. We kept walking, and went up to the door and opened it. Suddenly the smell hit us hard. It was this super strong chemical rotting odor. And then we spot him. There was this guy in the room. He was really frail, super gaunt. He had really baggy clothes and sores all over his face. He was holding a rifle and staring right at us. I couldn't speak. I see some beakers, bottles, and tubing on this table that really looked like a crappy science fair project. He lifts the gun up and we sprint out. We got out of the place, started the car, and drove off. We called the police, and it turns out he and a friend were squatting the place and running a meth lab. The police found the one guy upstairs and the other guy was in that really dark room downstairs. He heard our car come and was hiding in there and watched us. I have no clue why he didn't try to stop us. He was probably just tweaking out really hard. The broken glass was there to make noise to alert them when someone else was inside. I feel so lucky to be alive and safe, because they could have easily killed us, and nobody would know where we were, and they would have been safe. I haven't gone exploring abandoned houses since that. Hi everyone. I am a 24-year-old female working as an administrative assistant to a criminal defense attorney here in DC. In addition to working on his administrative work, I also do personal errands for him. Everything from getting groceries, to mailings, to taking his vehicle to be serviced, etc. About a month ago I ran to the grocery store to pick up water for him. Just as I was about to leave, I was approached by a man in his 30s who wanted to take a look at my tattoos. I have a full right sleeve, and I'm always asked about what they represent and symbolize. In addition to my full-time job, I work a second job interacting with pit bulls and other aggressive breeds. My tattoos are of roses and a sun which resembles a pit bull. They're essentially an homage to dogs that have passed on. This guy is amazed at my arm and says, "You pierce your skin for dogs." Impressive. Thanks in part to Redditors and their Let's Not Meet stories, I've grown accustomed to being aware of my surroundings and generally not speaking to people who seem a bit off. This man was dressed in a classy business suit, hair slicked back, and he appeared to be a professional, but there was something very sketchy about him. Not sure if it was intuition or something else. Anyway, he proceeds to follow me to my car and asks me if I would please accompany him on his walk with his Siberian Husky, right now. I love all dogs, but not this guy. I say no, I don't live here. This is a lie. He asks for my name, I say Abigail. This is a lie. He then asks me if I'll have a coffee at Starbucks with him. I say no, I have work. Truth. Plus, I just didn't want to talk to him. He says okay, walks to his car and drives off towards a stoplight. Seconds later, I see him reverse and drive it to where the trunk of my car is. He has his cell phone out and stays there for a minute taking photos of me and my car's back license plate. Before I can do anything, he speeds off. 3 days later, I'm leaving work. My office building has an underground parking garage where there is ample and free parking. Approaching my vehicle, I get my keys out, look to the side, and I'm shocked at what I see. The same man is in his car next to mine with a sinister smile etched on his face. I will never forget that look. He rolls down his window and asks me once again to walk his dog. I tell him to buzz off and get out. He starts his car, reverses, and exits the garage. At this point, my heart is racing and I am terrified. How did he know where I work? I try to blush it off thinking this guy's a douchebag and just playing games, but the image of his smile never leaves me. 2 days later, I received a package in the mail which was addressed to my full and real name, but had no return name or address. In it is a stuffed animal, a Siberian husky, as well as a box of chocolates. There is also a letter, well, a poem more like it. It reads, I asked God for a flower, he gave me a bouquet. I asked God for a minute, he gave me a day. I asked God for true love, he gave me that too. I asked God for an angel, he gave me you. It then read, I expect a response in 24 hours, please. I showed the poem to my brother the next day and he joked about me having a secret admirer. It wasn't secret because I pretty much knew who sent it. Paranoia is kicking in. He calls me over 40 times a day from unknown or blocked numbers. I have no idea how he got my number. Leaves voicemails proclaiming his love for me, and has threatened me numerous times, saying how I will have his babies and we will be together in heaven for eternity surrounded by dogs. He also shows up outside my work and I've seen his vehicle parked near my house several times. I've contacted the police and they are attempting to trace his calls, but nothing can be done. I don't know his name. Lately I've been sleeping, or attempting to, with my father's rifle under my pillow, and I'm not afraid to use it if someone persists on hurting me. However, I'm still very scared, and hate having to look over my shoulder everywhere I go. My cousin and I were both very close when we were little, but as we got older we drifted apart. But recently we've been hanging out more and have become friends again. She's 18 and I'm 17, nearly 18. She's wilder than me and is more of a live-in-the-moment kind of girl, while I plan in advance due to the recent events in my life. Recently we went to a music festival together, and in Australia they can be fairly dodgy to the point of cops patrolling them constantly due to the drug scene. My cousin and I were walking around laughing and just having fun eating deep-fried food that would likely give us food poisoning when this jittery, feral-looking guy comes up to us. He smiles and says, "Hello, ladies. You girls having fun? I have something that could be really fun. You like to have fun, don't you?" I smiled and said thanks, but we weren't interested, right as my cousin asked what he had. He showed us an empty hot chip cup that he had been holding in a white paper bag and it was full of pills in heaps of different colors and shapes. He told her that it would be $50 for 4 random pills. He called it a lucky dip. Then he leaned in and with a wink he said that it could be free if either she or I did something for him. I told him that I'd rather not do something with someone who looked like an anorexic rat, and my cousin laughed. I grabbed her hand and started to move back into the crowd when I saw him reach into his pocket. He pulled out a syringe and I froze. My cousin was between him and I. He looked at her and me and said, "Now it's either you," he pointed the syringe at me and then pointed to my cousin, "or her who helps me out." So what's it going to be, possums? I wanted to run, but there wasn't a chance that I was going to leave my cousin there. So I thought fast and said, "Okay, calm down. Just calm down." I started to walk towards him. When I got close enough, I reached up as if I was going to touch his face. And then I brought my hand straight down, smacked the drug-filled chip cup out of his hand, and yanked my cousin back, and we ran off while he frantically tried to pick up the pills. We went up to the first cop we saw, who radioed it out to all the other ones, and then a group of policemen and women started looking for him. To cut the story short, they didn't find him, but did find some pills scattered all over the ground where we had been. Apparently he had decided to leave the pills in favor of not getting arrested. So druggy guy, I hope I never meet you nor your lucky dip ever again. What's up, guys? I hope you enjoyed the video. This is obviously the first scary true story video I've uploaded in a while. I figured out my mic situation, and so I'm going to start uploading regularly, at least once a week, and I promise this time, I promise. I hope you guys got a good scare, and make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and send me your own stories if you have any, if you don't mind. I'd like to do some paranormal and stuff like that too, and besides the true stories, we'll do fiction stories every now and then, some of them I've written, as well as movie reviews and gameplay. We're not going to do exclusively horror, but that's going to be our focus, of course, because this is Dylan's Fear Files. So hope you guys have a good night. Stay spooky, my friends.